Hello and welcome to Mobile Gazette. We're going to give you a very quick overview of the Nokia E90 communicator. This is it. Looks like a normal phone, but it opens up to show a QWERTY keyboard and a very wide 800 pixel wide display. This actually folds all the way back. So you can use it either like this, or you can stick it down on a desk and use it as a little computer. It's not the first communicator series phone. This is the Nokia 9500, and before then there was the 9210i. You'll notice it's smaller. That's a good thing in some respects because it's easier to carry around, but in fact the keyboard and the screen is also smaller, and if you go back a couple of generations to look at an earlier communicator, you can see the difference between, especially the keyboard. That keyboard's very easy to use. This keyboard is not so easy to use, but again, all phones have a bit of a compromise in the way they're designed. One key thing with the Nokia E90 is the web browser. The web browser takes full advantage of the 800 pixel wide display. It is, we believe, one of only a very few phones with such a screen, and definitely the only one currently available in the UK. Most things do render very well on the E90 display. If you use the 9500, you may notice that the interface has changed, and this is a very S60 style interface. It's not as sophisticated as the old 9500. This has its advantages and disadvantages. It is much faster than the 9500, and it does work on the external display as well as the internal display. So here we've got Mobile Gazette, and you can see that looks pretty much as it does normally. So 800 pixels wide, and most things work on it very well. One irritation that we did find is the BBC News site, as well as some other sites, are very stubborn in not recognising this, or in fact they do recognise it, and they recognise it as a mobile phone, and they adapt their content for a mobile phone. And this is despite the fact I've got an 800 pixel wide display and Wi-Fi. If you can actually see, I have a very simple menu structure down here. This is the same menu that you get if you're browsing on just a normal mobile phone. It's a limitation of the software. Maybe in the future it will be possible to get around it. It is an S60 phone, and you can add software to it, so that is an advantage. While we're here, we'll have a quick look at the video and how the video works. The phone includes Real Player, which is a reasonably capable multimedia system. What you will find with video is that there are a lot of different standards, and not all of them will play. I'm just going to enlarge this to full screen.
Hello, here are the latest headlines from BBC News 24.
So as you can see, the video player is actually quite good, and it does take advantage as well that it has a wide screen, but as you can see, again, the interface is quite fiddly until we're back to the main screen. One other interesting feature on here is the mapping application. The mapping application is actually free, and the phone downloads the maps as it goes along. And so you can see at the moment there's a globe on there. The phone is thinking about its location, seeing if it needs to download any maps. It is a sort of a startup sequence. It zooms in, reassures us we are still on planet Earth, and zooms into the UK. The mapping application is quite good, and it is free. However, if you want to use it as a sat-nav system, there is an additional cost. That's not expensive. If you go for the 3-year option, it's £67 for a 3-year license for the software. For 1 year, it's £60. If you want a week, it's £5, so you can try it out for a week. It's a different price structure to, say, something such as a TomTom where the maps come on the system, but on the other hand, with a TomTom, if you want to update your maps, that can cost you £100 or so for maps of Western Europe. So it's competitive in terms of price. However, it's not very similar in terms of functionality, because if you're familiar with a TomTom, it has a touchscreen. This doesn't have a touchscreen. It also lacks the clarity that you have with the TomTom system, and the pull down menu system frankly would be impossible to use in a car. So once you've set it up for your satellite navigation, you're really fairly stuck with it. And don't forget, in a car you will also need a cradle. There are a number of other features with it as well, but one quick thing that we will have a look at is we'll compare it with the Nokia 770, and the reason we'll do this is that this is another Nokia with a 700 with an 800 pixel wide display. In this case it's a touchscreen, and this has its advantages. The 770 isn't a phone. This has now been replaced by the N800, which is a similar size. It isn't a phone. I don't need that. I can leave that at home if I don't need it. If I want to take a smaller phone, not a problem. With the E90 I always have to carry it around, and the E90 is quite a large phone. That's the Nokia 6131, so compared to the 770 it's smaller, but you can see it is quite large. It does weigh over 200 grams, and the other disadvantage with it is quite expensive. But it's a good phone overall. It's got lots of nice features. If you'd like to see more and more detailed information, some screenshots and some sample photographs, go to our website at mobilegazette.com and just scroll down until you see the Nokia E90 review. Well, thanks for listening, and we hope you come and visit our site soon.